What's going on? Uh, you know, as I've leaked in other videos, I like to think a lot. You know what I'm saying? I like to think a lot, man. And I recently looked into Confucius. Uh, it's crazy, but it's like I kind of see Confucius. He's kind of like equivalent to what in the Bible what you would call a judge. You know what I'm saying? Like there were certain guys that were called judges. That was their job. Their job was to be the guy you come to, be like, all right, these two people did this, man. What should be the punishment, or should there be no punishment at all? And this judge is supposed to honestly tell you what should be done. So I mean, this guy kind of held that kind of role. I mean, but downside of Confucianism type thing is you can argue either way. You know what I'm saying? You have to, and it makes it very legalistic. Uh, uh, that's where judging goes wrong. That's why it was an older practice before there was kings. You know what I'm saying? And then, to counter judges and kings, God left prophets out. It's kind of like your chessboard. You know what I'm saying? How different pieces can move in different, with different rules. You know what I'm saying? The prophet defies rules because God downloads directly to him, where a judge might be given this position and he's instructed, but yet he needs the prophet. And at the same time, the prophet needs that judge to stay on his job so society stays relatively fighting the evil, man. You know what I'm saying? And so, it's like the Bible says. What does it say? Give credit unto whom credit is due. What did Jesus say about Caesar giving him taxes? Pay unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Pay unto God's what is God's. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with men. It's like, okay, since you don't live by the Torah law, you don't live by the law of Jesus. You know what I'm saying? That frees you from the law of sin and death. But yet, at the same time, it even says in the Bible, it's like, don't worry about these ancient people who didn't know. They'll be judged by a different law, which is kind of like their own law, the law written in your heart. We all have a law written in our heart. It's corrupt or it's not corrupt. It's like, are you a moral relativist or are you a moral absolutist? I mean, I don't know if that's correct, but when I say absolute, you either admit it's one way or the other. So that's better being a relativist, because you won't make a statement either way, because you'll say it fluctuates due to the circumstance, which basically there is no sin. So when you say there's moral absolutes, well, there is. There's a good and an evil. There's a right and a wrong. Uh, Whether you believe in either or the other, it doesn't matter. It's just, even you could be evil as evil can be, but you can still admit that there's a good. But I just don't practice in that, and that's cool. That's what God says. He likes you more than a lukewarm person. You know what I'm saying? Who can't make a stand either or. It's just, I mean, for the sake of argument, okay? We'll call out the other side and give them their credit where credit's due. But in the end, the truth reigns. The truth is the truth. So listen, I could argue, I could legalese, I could conform, or I could conceal and deceive and manipulate and misinterpret, you know what I'm saying, and redefine and redirect the truth. And then therefore I become it's sin. I miss the mark because I'm telling you this is true, but it's not true. It's my objective truth, which isn't absolute truth. You know what I'm saying? You got to distinguish between these things before you can dabble into them. And a person like Confucius did dabble into them. That's because he was fulfilling a role of kind of like a judge. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have the actual laws. They were doing the best they could with what they had, and he did a damn good job of confronting things that were going on in his time and in his society, and he did it liberally. He looked at both sides, which is good. You know what I'm saying? And it shows you he's not a biased man. That he tried to be honest. He tried to be a good judge and hear out both sides of the matter before he made up. And consult other people who are judges as well. Here, let's get a group of judges working on this because listen, this is so delicate that I need other men's counsel to make sure that I'm not going in air. I'm going off here. You know what I'm saying? These men were aware of that. I'm just only calling it into remembrance because listen, people are ignorant of it. They're unaware. Even the Chinese people, I imagine they're probably ignorant of this, which is it's fucking sad. It's just me being ignorant uh of my Indian history, and a lot of men in our tribes likewise were set as judges. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like that's your civil chief. And then you have your spiritual chief. You know what I'm saying? Your Levitical type guy who stays away from everyone else and keeps himself separate, holy. You know what I'm saying? So he can commune with holy things. You know what I'm saying? It's similar custom. You know what I'm saying? I see that. You know that same thing. I see a lot of good in the world, even in these corrupt customs where they've been perverted to idolatry. But I can see that they stem from good Ten Commandment things. But over time, they've been redirected and reinterpreted and misinterpreted. And so sometimes it's done out of intention. Sometimes it's just done out of ignorance. You know what I'm saying? It's just our memory is valuable. You know what I'm saying? It makes mistakes sometimes, and over time, that's even expounded exponentially. Unless people adhere strictly to certain traditions to pass on uh, things that you'd call history, you got to pass them on verbatim. Speculation on it, you can pass it on as speculation or artistic renditions of historical things. Just you got to differentiate between the two. What's actual testimony, documentation, what's fancifulness. It's done with the Bible too. There's like the book of Adam and Eve or the second and third book of Enoch. These are kind of like artists' reinterpretations of things that did exist that were real. Same thing with King Arthur's Knights. This is a fictionalization of real people, real events, but it's just been romanticized because people had such an emotional, cultural, ethnic, nationalistic attachment to certain things that they painted it out in this beautiful. It's like Dracula or Vlad the Impaler. To some, he's a folk hero. To other, he's a tyrant, evil killer. That's the same thing with a lot of these man's historical accounts of these supernatural entity, men of renown, hybrid Nephilim, Gibborim, Rephaim types that have manifested throughout all of history, and it's a multicultural thing. So it's like it's not. Oh, it's just the Jews, man. When it's not just the Jews anyway. Judah is only one tribe of the rest of these other 11 tribes. It's not just a Jew thing or a Jew Semite Canaanite, Esau, Jacobian type thing. It's a worldwide thing that it's in all cultures that there's this kind of battle between the hybrids versus the regular old Joe. You know what I'm saying? uh, so, I mean, it's crazy out here, man. It's just recognize the pattern. If you foresee the overall pattern, it's not that hard to recognize. It's like Sun Tzu said, it's difficult for a man to know others if he doesn't know himself. But if a man knows himself and others, he is enlightened or he is capable of more than people who do not know themselves or others. It's like you can know others, but totally just not pay attention to yourself. That's what makes you so good at analyzing others. But can you analyze yourself through observing others and observe everything without trying? I mean, basically, that's how these things work. This is how becoming a listen. Why God chooses certain people to be judges. over things because they can adhere. Listen, I can put my bias aside. I can see past what it appears. I'm gonna hear it out and make sure before I even make my set my word on it and give my stamp of approval or disapproval. I'm gonna see the matter out. And a lot of people will just, that's my boy in the KKK mask there. He's right. Oh, this guy's black. Oh, he's right. Listen, that's why you need accurate judges don't who will love the truth, who will be lovers of the truth. You know what I'm saying? And this has inspired in many men in many cultures. Like I said, I just tie that into the Chinese, to the Indian people. And there's a lot of Western people who rebelled against the system to adhere back to the truth, try to reconcile mankind back to the truth. And for me to not give credit where credit's due, I'd be a liar, a fool, a thief, a robber, a murderer, and a deceiver of my brethren. What makes me any better than Cain? You know what I'm saying? So look, you guys gotta don't be judging me, man. You know, you're judging me off race again, man. And here's another thing. It's like, hey, yeah, I drink, so what? I ain't drunk right now. So listen, hear me out at least. Hear out what I'm saying. I mean, I ain't saying believe it, just hear it. Make your own judgment upon this. The information, which, if I concealed things from you and you found out, like, hey, you've been concealing this from me, you're deceptive. But I never concealed nothing. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing, I'll tell you, look, hey, if I'm drunk, I'm drunk. If I'm sober, I'm sober. I mean, that's the same thing they said to the apostles. You guys are drunk. You must be drunk, what you're saying, because it don't make no sense to me. And I see a reoccurring theme here in the present. But anyway, judges. You know what I'm saying? It's a worldwide phenomenon. If you look back into your own history, your actual history, not History Channel history or school history. History Channel history is a little better than school history, but not much. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I give them a lot of respect, but you know, I'm sorry, man. Look, I learned a lot of things from other sources, so it's like, in a lot of sources, you guys are a little biased, man. You kind of pull, you suck up water from the same pool, man. You know what I'm saying? If that one pool has been tainted, everything you pull out of it, man, it comes from that pool. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, man, I still give credit where credit is due. That goes both ways. Yeah, I have character flaws and character issues and traits. You know what I'm saying? That in the past, man, I may have exhibited more than now. Not to say they're gone. I'm working at it. You know what I'm saying? But at least I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? I would take a boulder over a brick any day. That boulder, man, can still be worked and turned into something awesome. But a brick's a brick. You know what I'm saying? It came from probably a boulder and it's been worked already and it's been reduced. You know what I'm saying? It's been consolidated. You know what I'm saying? It's not raw. You know what I'm saying? It's something you can work with. You know what I'm saying? Not within it is much more minuscule than what's in the boulder. Unworked in its natural state, the way that God created it. You know what I'm saying? That's where you guys go amiss. Is that you look at a brick and see beauty, and look at a stone and see disgust. But I look at a brick and see disgust, and look at a boulder or a stone and see beauty. You know what I'm saying? I see the brick, I see confusion. I look at the boulder and I see the author of beauty.